night. A lot of focus has turned to the future of Jason Garrett. Last night, Jerry Jones was asked if he would consider firing Garrett before the end of the season and said no. But he added, quote, I think each individual player, coach, and front office person is going to have to be better, including me. Shannon, will Jerry fire Jason Garrett?
No. And he says he doesn't make doesn't see any changes during the season. Wade Phillips on line one. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Skip, here's the thing. Jerry's not going to fire Jason Garrett because why? It would be an indictment on Jerry Jones. Nobody in the coaching profession, nobody that's around football believes that Jason Garrett is in charge of any part of this football team other than standing on the sideline and occasionally clapping. Everybody that goes and comes, Jerry Jones. This is why Jerry didn't get a Sean Payton. This is why Jerry Jones doesn't get a Sean McVay. He wants a do-boy. He wants somebody that's a puppet that gets to stand out there and says, you know what? I'm the coach of America's team. I'm the head football coach. Although I don't have any say, I'm the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody knows Jerry Jones is running this team. Jerry Jones actually believes he could actually coach this team. But he won't because then them L's will be on his resume. See, right now, the L's are on someone else's resume. And if he were to fire him, who's he going to put in charge? Scott Linehan? You know, Scott Linehan lost 17 of his last 20 games. Don't we know how it ended in Detroit for Rod Marinelli? So if you fire, at least, who you going to put in charge?
I got a name, but go ahead. I'll wait until it's my turn.
It's not your turn yet. So the thing is, look, at some point in time, Jerry's going to have to look. You always go back to 2016 and talk about Dak Prescott's QBR. That was an outlier season. You had the perfect storm. You had an offensive line playing at their apex. You had a rookie running back running on all cylinders. You had a quarterback that played. I don't believe he'll ever play. And I told you this, I said, Skip, what you automatically assumed that he was just going to get better from that point. I say, what if this is the best that we'll ever see from Dak Prescott?
He was really good last year, but go ahead.
Really good. They missed the playoffs.
I just told you they lost Zeke for 6 games and Sean Lee for 6 games. And by the way, Sean Lee, I think, is about done after last night because he's got a fatally defective hamstring.
No Sean.
It just won't stay.
I know 2 no-Seans. I know no Sean Marino and no Sean Lee. Because every time I turn around and you mention the Cowboys, it's no Sean Lee. Will you stop saying Sean Lee?
That's it.
No. I'm not going to let you do that.
I got the tackling Dutchman, and he's been a little bit of a surprise.
Oh, you like the tackling Dutchman now?
Yeah, I do.
They could have had Calvin Ridley. Oh, Ridley. Oh, Ridley.
How about
or not?
DJ Moore? That you want more? I'll take more.
Look at Cortland Sutton. He right down there from SMU, Skip. Y'all had a close-up look at him, but that's not here. No, will you stop? This is the. I hope you hope you took a picture of that 2016 season because that ain't happening again. And guess what, Jerry? Until you step back, look at this. You got 2 owners, both of them worth a lot of money. You look at the way Mr. Kraft does business, you look at Jerry Jones. Mr. Kraft is perfectly fine because when you're on that podium the first Sunday in February and the owner and Commissioner Goodell hands you the trophy, who cares? He hands the trophy to Mr. Kraft first. Jerry would know. I mean, Jerry had to know anything about it. Jerry ain't even come close to the trophy. I mean, he walked by him, and I'm sure they got him over there, and they got a new place in Frisco, right? In that new place in Frisco, they got them all lined up. Be a many moons before they get another one.
You finished? So, here's what I'm going to remind you of. If Jerry Jones cut Des Bryant, then he could potentially fire Jason Garrett during this football season because I was shocked. He finally saw the light and said no more Des, and he cut the cord to a young man that he considered like a son.
Yes.
And he obviously treats Jason Garrett like one of the family. And if it gets from bad, if bad gets to worse, and I think it's going in this direction.
It can get worse than last night?
Well, look, we talked about what's coming. So you go at Philly, at Atlanta,
Lost.
Washington on Thanksgiving.
I think I'm going to pick them.
New Orleans comes to Jerry World. Yikes. And then Philadelphia comes back, and you play them at Jerry World. If you lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games, what's your record? 3-10? I think the public outcry would be so severe that Stephen Jones would sit down with a man that he calls Jerry. He calls his father Jerry, which is always sort of shakes me up when he does that. But he calls him Jerry, and he would say, Jerry, we got to come to grips with this. That's got to be the end of this. We got to do something to right the ship and at least show people that we're trying to do something to go in a new direction. Right. And I believe that Chris Richard is going to be a head coach in this league because he is a young stud of a coach. Obviously, he's with the Legion of Boom for a long time in Seattle.
Yeah, but Skip,
they should elevate him.
But Skip, if he were to fire Jason, that's an indictment on him. Because everybody knows he's coaching the team. Well, Jason Garrett is not in charge of the final 53.
You don't think Des Bryant was an indictment of Jerry? Because Jerry defended Des like crazy.
Yeah.
And finally, he just had to say, I give up. I eat crow. I swallow my pride. He's gone.
You know what, Skip? Everybody, even the former position coach, the new position coach, I think there had to be like 7 or 8 guys that got Jerry. Because I don't know if Jerry makes this decision by himself. I believe Stephen Jones and Will McClay, because you see all these guys become very outspoken after the release. And like, he couldn't beat press coverage. He couldn't run anymore. We can't live in the jump ball, the back shoulder world anymore. Everybody started saying these things, and I think it was accumulation. Because if it was just left up to Jerry, it's hard. Because like he said, he committed to him. He believed him after that 2014 season. Stepped to the plate.
I got it. What do I say about Jason Garrett? He is Coach Clap, because the best thing he does, his greatest strength, is clapping. Win, lose, or draw, fumbles, interceptions, he just stands over.
What else would Jerry allow him to do?
Well, okay, you can make that case. But the point is, they are mired in mediocrity with Jason Garrett. If I look back at the record, it's 70 and 58 overall, but in the time that he wasn't just the interim coach, he's 65 and 55, and he benefited greatly from the 12 and 4 in 2014 and the 13 and 3, thanks to Dak and Zeke in 2016. So you got those two to boost you above 500. But once upon a time, Jerry Jones said 500 coaches could coach this team. That was back when it was Dion and Charles Haley and Troy and Emmett and Michael, right? 500 coaches. Well, right now, Jason Garrett is the face of 500, as in that's how many you're going to win. That's your winning percentage. You're going to win about half your games. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some with Jason Garrett. And at some point, Jerry has to snap out of it the way he did about Des Bryant and say, I got to give in and give up and go in a new direction.
But Skip, in order for you to get, I'm telling you, today's coaches, if they have any backbone, or they have any gumption, or they want to be thought of as serious, they got to have some control. Sean Payton, not Sean Payton, it was reported that at some point maybe he could have gone back. But you look at Kyle Shanahan. You could have had a Kyle Shanahan, but I'm telling you, Kyle Shanahan is Mike Shanahan's son. And Mike Shanahan says, boy, you better have some control of your fate. Absolutely. You better have some control of the final 53 or some say. You could have had a Sean McVay. But they young guys know you better have some say instead of just sitting back, well, I'm a head coach in the NFL, and they feed you players that might not fit your system. Jerry is not going to get a coach of that ilk unless he's willing to acquiesce some of that control, Skip Bayless.
You could be right about that, but I still say he is capable, fully capable at 3-10 of firing Jason Garrett, just to give the public something, like a head on the platter.
But
you need to give them something.
Here's the thing, Skip. Why would I do that and I can still charge $12? They're still going to buy $12 beer, or they're still going to come and pay $150 for tickets, or they're still going to buy a member of a paraphernalia. So what's the incentive? I keep telling you, if I'm still think about it. I got
to tell you, last night will knock the bottom out of Cowboy Nation, because that was bad, because you're coming off a bye and your team came out uninspired, especially on the defensive side. They were not ready to play on defense, and some of that has to fall at the doorstep of the head coach, right? And on offense, there was no real urgency. They come out and sis, boom, bang, and they go down, and then they can't cash.
Even the final drive, Skip, when Dak threw the ball out of the end zone, I'm like, dude, do y'all know y'all down 14? Why are you taking so long?
That was the fitting into a nightmare night.
Well, we're not going to talk about him throwing the ball out of the end zone and not even giving this guy a chance. But Skip, that's the thing is that you got, I just don't get it. Jared just is in this thing, and he's like, I've won this way before, I can do it again. But Skip, you know times have changed. It's not the same anymore. The way you run a ship, you can't run a ship the same way.
Okay, so Jason Garrett's in his 8th year, and his playoff record is 1-2. They made it twice, and obviously